The Final Shakeout. Today we're talking about the current situation within altcoins. I'll share several picks and I think I'm going to do very well in upcoming several months on this marketplace. Talk about the current situation in altcoins, in crypto overall, Ethereum, altcoins, all these good stuff that you're probably tired of hearing about at this stage. But it's very important to have proper and right mental constructs in order to go through the situation, in order to win in this situation as well. Do me a favor, press the like button. Let's get into today's video. First of all, the two main things you actually need to win in this crypto game. The two main edges in markets that retail can take advantage of is being early to new markets or long-term orientation. All funds and the smart quants, etc. are operating on daily, weekly, quarterly operations in established markets. You guys all know this intuitively when you see your biggest mistakes when knowing something but just not holding long enough and getting caught and caught up by other players, or remembering easier times when anything you bought went up when the market was early. So you either have to be early or play long term, or both. Trying to win by outsmarting short-term and established markets is not an option for most of us, myself included, because it doesn't matter how smart you are. The guys and teams you compete against have you covered, and so you can do well short-term, but over time you will degrade to the mean outcome. Easiest edges in crypto: patience, being early. Most of the market, 99% of the market, should only be focusing on acquiring and operating with these edges, because they usually tend to lead to outperformance. Some words on BTC. We have the obvious liquidity level at $81,000 right here. Low liquidity, market makers would probably want to sweep, right? And we also have liquidity around $85,000. The overview that might be seen is us essentially going to 81K at this stage, then essentially taking up liquidity for 85, although we're definitely closer to 85 level currently. I do still expect these months to actually be quite bullish. And the interesting situation I wanted to show you in a bunch of charts of these altcoins is that all of them, they're essentially in this crazy, insane pattern at this stage, which you can even see with the naked eye. I would say that Ethereum is just the best one in terms of just how visual this pattern is. So we have a very clear trend line right here, which we tried to bridge several times. So you can see that here, it started, right? Here we touched it, we got rejected heavily. Here we kind of touched it, but not really, right? Here we also almost touched it, and we just touched it recently, right? And the interesting thing with this trend line is that the lower we go, the easier for us to break. Because imagine if Ethereum don't want to touch this trend line at this stage, it needs to go down with a very insane angle out there. And a very interesting pattern is actually being printed on the chart as well. Classic reversal pattern that we have seen on a bunch of alts and a bunch of crypto assets in this market at the end of August, which is right now kind of being printed on Ethereum in the first place, right? And on most of the assets out there as well. The classical thing out there is that it's just a reversed head and shoulders, and the pattern usually is continuing right here. So if we were essentially in the upward price action, we would go down, right? If it's a reversed price action, we are essentially going up. So right now, we're essentially in the reversed head and shoulders pattern for Ethereum and for a bunch of altcoins. And it definitely makes a lot of sense because Ethereum is the main altcoin on the market, and we still have to wait until Ethereum will perform in order to see alts really doing the thing. And right now, from the sentiment point of view, yeah, it's just a deal. No one believes in analysis and no one believes in crypto. Everyone just thinks that altcoins are a scam, and partially they are, right? Especially the way they are set up this cycle. But this is exactly the sentiment when you want to be kicking off these things, because what would be happening right now is that people will be selling at the resistance or the retest that they will be entering. They will be selling at the first resistance out there, and they will try to trade each and every pump, and they will be happy. They will be happy that they cut like from $1,860 to $2,050. They will be happy that they cut from $2,170 till $200 and $500. They would be happy they cut these longs when the whole idea was just to long bottom with low leverage, right? And at these levels, just increase your leverage and just hold this fucking thing. Hold this fucking thing at least to previous major resistance level, which is $4,000, right? Or even to the new all-time highs, which is obviously the main resistance level overall, right? It's not just Ethereum. I also wanted to show you these beautiful charts that I will just remove for yourself at this stage, and I will just redraw them for you. Because, I get rejected from the art school, right? Here you can see that we are essentially in the same trend line that Ethereum has. We're pretty much from around the same time as well, end of January. We touched it once, we almost touch it here. You can almost say that we do see like a second trend line forming around these levels, right? And we touch it here. And we're exactly in the similar situation from the point of view that the lower we go, the easier for us is to break through this thing, right? For something like SUI. And the setup that you actually see right here, I was pretty emotional when I saw it like a couple days ago. I was swearing, I was screaming like, why the fuck I'm not max long in this shit? It's just such an obvious thing. And the point of time I was screaming that was exactly like at this bottom. And obviously, like, you might think that this is nothing, right? But this is 6% move up, right? Which is not a lot, but if you're entering with high leverage, that's a very, very nice buffer to have. You can set up a stop loss and a break even. And I did not enter any positions around these levels. You can also see with the naked eye that we are forming up the same pattern right here, right, with the expectations of the continuation on there. The question you might have, well, maybe this is just SUI and Ethereum and nothing else is showing this type of price action at this stage. Maybe there are some older assets that people don't like even more, right, that are showing something and that are even heavier than the ones that you just mentioned, than SUI, for example. Although I do think that the market cap of SUI should be bigger than Arbitrum at this stage. Just look at these things, guys. It's absolutely insane. All of them, like, the situation is identically similar to something that happened in the end of August. And I was screaming. If you remember that videos, I was screaming to you. Guys, all of them are following cup and handle. All of them are following, they will all repeat cup and handle. Unfortunately, actually not all of the assets essentially formed up the cup and handle pattern. Although, I would say at the end of November, start of December, the minimal amount of access that each and every altcoin did was somewhere around 2 to 2.5x. Even dog shit that no one wanted to buy in the market. And that's why I'm saying that we do have on this market base case for amount of access that each and every alt will do. And then from my point of view, at this strategy I'm using, you are either longing the stuff that has the lowest market cap, so it has the chance to multiply the most, or the stuff that has the highest chance from your point of view to reach product market fit. What is product market fit in crypto? Is the ability of the product to attract dummies, new dummies into this industry so they can get scammed. This is what product market fit in crypto is. You have to understand this very, very clearly, right? You can see the same thing printing out on this chart as well. Cup and handle, exactly, right? And arguably, if this would be actually true, we are actually at the bottom of the third low, which is insane because, like, the fact I'm sharing this with you guys, like, it could be the best fucking entry point. And probably, like, most of you're thinking that, wow, like, the guy was calling the bottom so much time, he's probably wrong, one more time and things like that. We'll see. We'll just see with this one, right? Well, meme coins are dead. Nothing is happening, right? And they're not following any chart patterns and they're fucking dead and I should just sell all of my meme coins and stuff like that. Let's take a look at bread, right? I don't care, like, don't think about what type of asset is here. Just care about the chart, right? What do you fucking see here? What do you see here? Tell me. Do you see the same thing happening? Why? Guys, this is a meme coin. Why it's actually following all the patterns that are happening with most of the charts of alts out there, right? Arguably, I would say that maybe alts are looking better at this stage, but at the same time, like, this is a meme coin. Following the older memory, people will still continue to buy into these assets, right? So this is several things from the list that I wanted to share. All of them are forming same patterns. This is for the reason. This is not just something fucking fugazi. This is for the reason. This is for a reason. All of them are forming reversal patterns at this stage with 3 dots bottom. If you don't believe me, something I'm always showing, you probably remember this chart by memory if you're watching me frequently. I am always showing the chart of SUI at the end of summer and the exact triple bottom formation, which signifies fucking ants are all around me, which signifies the reversal, right? Reversal from the bottoms. how many X's did it do since the third low, which you actually have the opportunity right now to enter at. And I'm here to tell you exactly that. Third low. I'm here presenting this to you for fucking free, guys. For free. For free. I could have been spending my time elsewhere for free. Absolutely fucking insane. 6.7 X's from there for something like Sui. Right now it's forming the same thing. Arguably the pattern is even bigger, right? Yeah, it's even bigger. It's insane. Let's check out some of the shitcoins. Well, maybe we won't be checking out because the pattern of this thing is just too fucked up. Well, this one is harder because like you cannot probably set up a proper trend line. And like this type of move down, it's insane. IMAX is printing new lows at this stage. That's absolutely crazy. But if you would look at the whole thing, right? What I was telling you about Arbitrum, what I was telling you about other things, we are at the third bottom at this stage. This is exactly where IMAX is currently, right? Which is the main layer 2 for gaming coins out there, right? The performance of this thing definitely depends on the performance of Ethereum. You can see it right here as well. And the reason I'm showing IMAX is because IMAX is essentially like an index for all of your gaming coins out there. So it might be, you might be just be looking into these things out there. They might be just doing quite well, right? I do think even on Solana we should have something similar, yeah. Even on Solana we have the same thing. And we definitely have received the reaction. So the reason I showed you BTC initially is not so you can laugh, right? It's not out of sense, right? The pattern on BTC is like less diagonal, I would say, right? But it's the same fucking thing. It's the same absolute thing out there. It's about pattern recognition, baby, right? So the reason I showed you BTC is because a lot of people are essentially talking about 78, 79K, right? Move down, which is a very interesting one because if we're going there, we're actually sweeping the liquidity and we're creating like a proper third low, which is lower than the first low, but not lower than the middle low, right? Which is a very, very interesting type of setup, right? And probably like most of late longers, because yesterday I also have seen that a bunch of people in crypto that actually started longing. They only did long Bitcoin, right? They did not long a lot of other things out there. Mostly they longed Bitcoin out there. But if we're going back to the $78,000, what you would see is essentially BTC forming clear like the best three bottoms reversal pattern out there. Now I would say if we're here, this is definitely the call for max long. This is something I would be doing. Obviously, you can definitely think about risk management and all this good stuff, right? 78K is where I would be max longing if we are revisiting that. And all these tariffs, all this bullshit, I told you way in advance, monthly opens are red. Most of the, out of last 7 to 8 months, only one monthly open in December was green. It's all the same shit. They're using different news, different stuff. And like, honestly, like, diving too deep into this politics is probably detrimental to your thought process, to your thinking as well. First of all, it doesn't matter. Second, it always will be on the charts, right? So it does not matter at all. And then you're trying to get deep into it and you're trying to become a macro expert. And none of us know shit, guys. Like from the levels of access of information we as retail have. Like the moment news are presented to us, they're already priced in, they're already taking profits. Do you remember Eric Trump sharing to buy Ethereum? Do you remember Trump Foundation, Trump company actually buying crypto and Ethereum altcoins? And at the time when I was telling you, I told you, there is 100% option for them to be buying into these things in a hidden way by not telling us. What you have to figure out is why they're sharing this info. It's either they want to use us as exit liquidity, short term, or we are close to the end of accumulation. And that's why they're just sharing because they don't care anymore, right? And the first was obviously true. A lot of people actually got kind of screwed up. I would say like almost lied to. Because a lot of people, even like older OG crypto market participants, they believe too much in Trump. Like if Trump is here, there won't be a giant manipulation out there. And everything will be better because he's the president of the US and things like that. And the amount of manipulation just increased from the times when he was not in the markets, right? Which is pretty interesting. So I definitely shared some information with you. I hope it was valuable. We went through several outs, but most of the charts, all of the charts, open up any chart of any altcoin, you would see the same exact fucking thing happening, right now on them, right? This is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this one. Stay healthy and rich. And I shall not be seeing you tomorrow. I shall be seeing you on Monday. Bye-bye.